its people. And even the wealthy ones who came, like the Armstrong family, and had this grand mansion built. Well, they gave it to the city so we could start our first college there. It was Armstrong Junior College then. It's Armstrong State College now, with a big sprawling campus on the south side of town. Jim Williams also restored this grand mansion, and then he sold it to the law firm that currently resides there. So now it's $300 an hour to go inside. And he's said to be buried underneath those 4 pillars you see out there. And I say said to be buried because we know he's been dug up at least once. And the mausoleums here were raided by the Union soldiers when they came to town looking for a warm place to stay. They'd throw the body parts out, and then they took their knives and wreaked havoc on the tombstones, changing a lot of the information. So you'll see a woman in there that was only alive for a year and had 10 kids. So it's crazy stuff in there. You can walk through and find out. Our police barracks, one of the oldest in the country, dated back to 1869 there. And I can proudly say I've never spent the night in that building, at least in my adult life. Now, Iron Man named Kehoe laid a lot of railroad tracks and trolley tracks and things. He said, anything you can carve of wood, I can carve of iron, and he proved it with this house. There is no wood. You see the stain up there on the hand railing of the balcony. That is a rust stain. Oh, like that. All right, we're going through Oglethorpe Square now, named for our founder, General James Oglethorpe. And why his monument's not in the same square or is named after him, I don't know. But at any rate, one of the other interesting things about the houses here, that if you haven't noticed already, I'll point out now and see if you can just tell me. Look at the balcony on this house. Tell me what's missing from the balcony that you would think you'd see on a balcony.
Doors.
Doors, exactly, and that is because the city taxed you on every one of the exterior doors that you had on your property. So they came up with the idea of those long windows so they could kind of get around paying the taxes. First tax loophole. The building here on our right was a Marine Veterans Hospital. It's now a learning center. Also, when we had fires in the early days, we used the bucket brigade to put out the fires. If you were part of the bucket brigade, you'd have 2 buckets in your house, one empty, one filled with sand. When you would hear this bell up on the left, Big Duke, you would grab your buckets, take the empty one down to the river so they could start filling it with water and passing it on. And then you'd take your bucket of sand to wherever the fire was. If you couldn't see where it was, you would know by how many times they rang the bell, because every ward had a number, and that's how many times they would ring that bell. Now we're coming up on one of our most famous women's house here in Savannah. She was born into a wealthy family. Her dad started the Central Georgia Railroad. He had been a mayor of Savannah. He was a veteran soldier. She traveled the world with her mother, meeting dignitaries all over the world, including a guy in England who had started the Boy Scouts of America. So she decided to come back and start the Girl Scouts of the United States of America. And this is the birthplace of Juliet Gordon Lowe, the founder of the Girl Scouts of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, our stop number 9. He died, and it was basically old age. He was about 100 years old, but of course Oglethorpe was very sad. He was a pallbearer, but he wanted him buried right here in the center of town. So it's not known for sure as whether they dug up his remains and moved them over there, but there's that granite rock you saw back there. So that is put in place to memorialize the spot at which Tomochichi was buried, right in the middle of town where Oglethorpe wanted him. We also found out later that Tomochichi's father had been killed by the very Spaniards that Oglethorpe was sent to find a factory to be done, and they do it up here. Then I'll show you how they got the cotton down into the warehouse. Again, these are the ballast stones we're going across now. This ramp is what we call it, was used for the filming of Birth of a Nation. If you look up on that light pole, you'll see some dead limbs. They never did take them down. What? They had limbs coming all the way down to the light meter and everything down here to cover them up.
Oh, I thought you meant like people
And they were here for about 2 days filming, so that means it'll be about 3 minutes worth of film that you'll see. And if you do see the movie and you want to try and nail what was filmed in Savannah, look for a guillotine. They had a guillotine set up right where our trolley is now. They had men in Minutemen outfits and also other period costumes. They had a red, white, and blue banner across that walkway. So if you do happen to go see the movie and want to see where you were here in Savannah, that would be the scene. Now, this is Lower Factors Walk. What they would do is they'd sling the cotton down into these warehouses. Then they could load it onto the ship, sailing into here it is, the Savannah River, our namesake, our life's blood, our pride and joy. The river was 12 feet deep when Oglethorpe came in 1733, about 2 blocks to our left. It is now 42 feet deep, getting ready to be 47 feet deep after we finish deeping it, so we can handle the larger ships that will then be coming out of the Panama Canal after 2016, because we are the fourth largest container port in the United States of America, ladies and gentlemen. Poised to grow. We've had recent articles written up about us in the Wall Street Journal and Fortune magazine about the spectacular growth potential for this great port. Very proud of our Port Authority here and all of their hard work. They're now our largest employer. This is going to be our stop 12 on River Street. We got one more up the road, stop 13.
You might know me better as Savannah's waving girl. That's right, I was born here in 1868. Now, at the age of 19, my dear father passed away, and my brother took me to live with him down at Elba Island, just down the river, where he was the lighthouse keeper. Now, soon after, I became engaged to a handsome naval officer. But before we could wed, he was called away for duty, but he promised to return. Men and their promises. Little did I know that when his ship had sailed, so had mine. Determined to keep myself for him, I waited patiently day and night down by the lighthouse. To make sure he knew I was waiting for him, I waved at every single vessel passing by. And at night, I waved my lantern, my little light of hope shining in the darkness. Now, don't you know, after a while, those ships started to recognize me, so they'd salute me back by hooting their horns 3 times. But alas, none of them brought my dear lover back to me. 44 years I waited for that man till I died in 1943. But now there is a lovely statue of me just down the river, and don't you know those ships still salute me as they enter my beautiful city of Savannah. Well, I must be getting back to my post. Lots of ships coming and going today. Y'all enjoy the rest of your tour and pleasant voyage. Goodbye now. Bye.
Hello, everyone. My name's Forrest Gump. You know, ever since my friend, Lieutenant Dan, got me invested in that fruit company, Apple, well, I've had more money than David Crockett. I'm a gazillionaire now, and when you're a gazillionaire, you can do just about anything you want to. So I decided I'd come on the old Savannah tour trolleys and welcome everyone to Savannah. So, welcome to Savannah. I'd offer you one of my chocolates, but I ate them all. You know, Savannah is actually a lot like a box of chocolates. Every now and then you find a nut. Anyway, I'll let y'all get back to your tour. It was nice to meet you. Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.
Oh, shimmering light, you had in my sight, revealed. Had a stop for the night. Yes, he stood in the doorway with a missing bell.